Hi everyone and welcome back to our channel. Anne from the Sussex Handmade Soap Company here, and today we are continuing our journey into the world of natural dyes and colourants. We are using another natural dye today, but just a quick disclaimer, it is not vegan or vegetarian, so if that is what you are looking for, then it is probably best just to give today's video a bit of a miss, because today we are actually using ground cochineal to colour our soaps. And for those of you who don't know, cochineal is actually a parasitic bug. So essentially we are using bugs to colour our soap today. And I know that that doesn't necessarily sound like the most appealing thing, and it is perhaps a tad controversial. The cochineal has been gifted to us from Suzanne Deckel of suzannedeckel.com. You can check her website out just here. We actually made a soap a couple of weeks ago with some woad that she had gifted us, and now we are moving on to the second in our series on kind of her natural dyes, which is the cochineal. Her website has a load of natural dyes, and many of them are suitable for use in cold process and hot process soap. So if you're looking for kind of inspiration or something a little bit different, then do check her out. Today we will be infusing our cochineal into water rather than oil, because from research it does suggest infusing into water is the way to go. And it should hopefully give us a nice pink colour, though that pink colour may take a little while to actually develop. But we're going to see how it goes. So let's jump right in and make some cochineal soap. So in this pan I have got 400 grams of water and 20 grams of cochineal, and I'm just gently simmering them together to allow the cochineal to infuse into the water. I'm going to simmer them for around about 30 minutes, then I'm going to remove it from the heat, allow it to cool, then I'm going to strain the liquid through a muslin cloth, and then that is what we are going to be using to make our lye water solution with today. So now the cochineal and water mix has cooled down, we're going to strain it through this muslin cloth into this Pyrex jug. And at the minute we have just got water and cochineal in here, so we are using glass. Once we introduce lye, we obviously will not be using a glass jug anymore, and we will then also be wearing our gloves and our goggles too. But for now, cochineal and water, we are fine with glass, and we are fine without the kind of goggles and gloves and all of that for the moment. So I'm just going to take our pan of beautifully red cochineal water there and strain through into the jug. So this is straining through quite nicely now, and once it has actually all strained out, I am going to reserve the cochineal, allow it to dry out, and then I can use it again. I have read that it can be reused and used at least once more, so I'm going to reserve the leftover cochineal after I have strained off the water. And I'm just going to pull up the muslin cloth and just lift it up to hopefully get as much water out as possible. And I'm now thinking perhaps I should have worn my gloves, because I'm starting to think I'm going to come away from this with quite red hands. There's been a murder. There hasn't really. I don't know. Ugh. So now I'm going to weigh out the water required for the recipe, but I'm going to be using our infused cochineal water. It's likely that by simmering it I won't have quite enough, so I've got just some normal plain tap water here, just to kind of top up the water amount to the required level. So I'm going to start by tipping in all of the cochineal water. So that is all of our cochineal water in, and now I am just topping it up with the regular tap water to get to the required weight, which for today is 400 grams. Now I've got my water and my cochineal, I'm going to don my gloves and my goggles, and we are going to add our lye into our water. Then we are going to cool it down, and then we're going to begin making soap with it. And we've added the lye in now, and as you can see it's changing from that bright red colour to a really kind of deep purple colour, and I fully expect it to go through some more colour changes as we actually work, because from my research it does suggest that cochineal will go through many colour changes throughout the soap making process. So our lye and our oils are both at approximately 118 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are now going to slowly pour our very pretty purple lye water into our oils. Now we're going to use the stick blender to bring it to a medium trace, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if this beautiful purple colour now changes to something else, possibly brown. I'm going to guess brown. So now I'm going to add in our Rose Geranium essential oil. And as you can see, we are changing colour again. There is some brown creeping in there. And I'm just going to work this essential oil in, and then we're going to get it quickly into the mould because it is thickening up quite a bit now. So just going to carefully pour into the mould now. As you can see, it is really thickening. And I'm just going to smooth off the top as well. I say it has got very thick, and that is most likely due to the Rose Geranium essential oil. I know that Rose Geranium does tend to accelerate trace, and we were already fairly thick, so that is most likely why we have got pretty thick pretty quickly, but we should be okay. So now it's set up nicely. I'm just going to texture the top with the old back of the spoon technique. As you can see, the colour is massively changing. We've got a brown on top, but you can still see that purple underneath, and I expect it will morph back hopefully to a pretty pink colour once the soap has cured. And the very last thing we're going to do today is add some rose petals to the top just for decoration. And I'm just sprinkling them very lightly on the top of this soap. And I know some people do say that rose petals fade or go brown, and that is something that can happen, but we tend to find when we are using really nice dark kind of cerise petals, they don't fade to brown too badly, and we just keep them on the top of the soap, just very gently pressed on, and then we don't tend to have too many problems with them fading and looking unattractive. And lastly, we just very gently press the petals into place on the soap. And that is our cochineal soap completed. And hopefully by the time it has cured and been cut and been turned out and left for a few weeks, this will have morphed back from this weird sort of brown colour to a very pretty pink. That's what we are hoping anyway. So we're going to leave this for 24 hours now. I'm going to pop it into my propagator because I do want it to go through a gel phase. If you haven't got a propagator, you can C-pop it, so place it into an oven that has been preheated to approximately 50 degrees C, then switched off, pop the soap in, leave it overnight, and that should help to ensure it goes through gel phase. Or you could pop it into a cardboard box and insulate it with towels, which should also help to achieve gel phase. But I personally am going to stick it in my heated propagator because that works well for me. Then we will come back tomorrow and we will chop it up and see what kind of colour we have achieved so far. So 24 hours later we have unmoulded and we have got something of a salmon pink colour going on now. So we're going to bring in the cutter and get it chopped up and see how it's looking on the inside. And I am cutting on its side today just because we do not want the rose petals to drag down through the soap, so we have turned onto the side to avoid that. Oh, this is a stiff one today. Lovely and firm. So let's have a look now at what colour we have got on the inside. So this is the colour we have got at the moment, a really kind of vibrant pinkish purplish colour. Very, very pretty. but I expect that it will not stay this colour once it has cured, and I will expect it to actually kind of fade and change a little bit more. Because from all my research on cochineal, I have read that it will kind of develop its true colour over the coming days. So I will update you on what colour this one does actually eventually turn out, because as I say, it is unlikely that it will stay this kind of purplish colour. I expect it will fade to more of a kind of dusky pink. That is what I'm expecting anyway. So that is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed watching us experimenting with cochineal. If you enjoy our videos, please do hit subscribe, give us a like, give us a comment. And if you want to have a go with the cochineal as well, then the website that we purchase from again is suzannedeckel.com, just here. Yeah, I really love her website. I've really enjoyed experimenting with the dyes that she's actually gifted to us. So yeah, check out her website and get your hands on some little crushed bugs, which does make it sound a little bit off-putting, but it is what it is, isn't it? We will see you next week. Have a lovely weekend and bye for now.